week 7 of the fantasy football season. And here's a few tight ends I look to drop this week. The first guy, Dalton Schultz of the Dallas Cowboys. So Schultz banged up, not doing much this season. He missed the week 6 ball game for this Cowboy team. And last season was a monster year for him. No doubt about it, getting the franchise tag with Dak Prescott. But right here, it just hasn't happened this season with Cooper Rush at quarterback. And the knee injuries keeping him in and out of the lineup. So on the season here, total, the stats, just nothing to show for it. 9 catches, 80 yards, and a fumble loss on 17 targets. I know he missed 2 games of Schultz. I know Dak Prescott, he probably could be back here in week 7, week 8 for this Cowboy team. But right now, Dalton Schultz is not a guy I'm going to wait on. There's some tight ends that actually broke out in week 6 that I mentioned in my waiver wire video. So if you haven't seen that, check it out. And those guys right now I'd rather have than a Dalton Schultz. And even Ferguson, the rookie, had 4 catches, 40 yards, and a touchdown for Dallas in week 6 versus the Eagles. So right now, Schultz not getting the job done. He's been banged up, and he's a guy we drop this week. No doubt about it, when Dak comes back and he's healthy, he could be in the fantasy discussion for 12-team leagues or deeper. But he's a drop right now. The next guy, Will Dissly of the Seattle Seahawks. So Dissly, a lot of people went out there to the wire and got him with a good matchup on paper versus Arizona. But now the first few weeks just look like a fluke and a touchdown-dependent guy Dissly was. The first 3 out of 4 weeks, and the last 2 weeks he's fizzled out, and the snap count has gone down. So Noah Fant, I mentioned him as a pickup on the waiver wire this week here. He saw the snaps, he had the fantasy points, and him and Geno are gaining a rapport. So the last couple games here for Dissly, week 5 in New Orleans, 2 catches, 21 yards. And week 6 versus Arizona, catch for 12 yards on 1 target. So right now, that's not going to get the job done. I think a lot of fantasy owners are going to drop him this week here after 2 poor performances in a row. And hey, he was just the guy that you caught lightning in the bottle maybe the first month of the season. But now teams know about Dissly in the red zone. And he hasn't done much with Noah Fant ahead of him as well. On the third and final tight end I would drop this week here is Tyler Conklin of the New York Jets. Anyone in that Jet passing game, it's evidence now. The last 3 weeks, they've done nothing. Believe it or not, Joe Flacco spread the ball out and got it to his guys. I know the Jets were trailing him all those ball games for the most part here, but at least the offense was eating in terms of fantasy football. But right now, these guys haven't done nothing. And since Wilson returned here for Conklin, week 4, Pittsburgh, 3 catches, 52 yards. Week 5 versus Miami, 1 target, he didn't do anything with it, a goose egg. And week 6 at Green Bay, only 2 targets, a catch, 16 yards. Well, 1 rushing yard. So some people were saying, give him a chance, wait it out. But now you gave it a chance. 3 weeks here, and no one's done anything besides Corey Davis in this passing game for the Jets. And they got a tough matchup at Denver coming up in week 7 in Denver. And Conklin, he was great the first 3 weeks with double-digit fantasy points every game. But now he's fell off, and Zach Wilson isn't looking his way. And C.J. Uzomah has played more snaps as well coming back from injuries. That's a few tight ends I would drop here for week 7 of the fantasy football season.